I see before me now a traveling army halting below a fertile valley spread, with barns and the orchards of summer, behind the terraced sides of a mountain, abrupt, in places rising high, broken with rocks, with clinging cedars, with tall shapes dingily seen, the numerous campfires scattered near and far, some away up on the mountain, the shadowy forms of men and horses looming large-sized, flickering, and over all the sky, far, far out of reach, studded, breaking out, the eternal stars. With its cloud of skirmishers in advance, with now the sound of a single shot snapping like a whip, and now an irregular volley, the swarming ranks press on and on. The dense brigades press on, glittering dimly, toiling under the sun. The dust-covered men in columns rise and fall to the undulations of the ground, with artillery interspersed. The wheels rumble, the horses sweat, as the army corps advances. By the bivouac's fitful flame, a procession winding around me, solemn and sweet and slow. But first I note the tents of the sleeping army, the fields and woods' dim outline, the darkness lit by spots of kindled fire, the silence, the phantom far or near on occasional figure moving, the shrubs and trees. As I lift my eyes, they seem to be stealthily watching me, while wind in procession thoughts, oh tender and wondrous thoughts, of life and death, of home and the past and loved, and of those that are far away, a solemn and slow procession there as I sit on the ground, by the bivouac's fitful flame.
Come up from the fields, father, here's a letter from our Pete, and come to the front door, mother, here's a letter from thy dear son. Lo, 'tis autumn. Lo, where the trees, deeper green, yellower,
And redder,
cool and sweeten Ohio's villages with leaves fluttering in the moderate wind, where apples ripe in the orchards hang and grapes on the trellised vines. Smell you the smell of the grapes on the vines? Smell you the buckwheat where the bees were lately buzzing? Above all, lo, the sky so calm, so transparent after the rain, and with wondrous clouds. Below, too, all calm, all vital and beautiful, and the farm prospers well. Down in the fields all prospers well, but now from the fields come, father, come at the daughter's call, and come to the entry, mother, to the front door come right away. Fast as she can she hurries, something ominous, her steps trembling. She does not tarry to smooth her hair, nor adjust her cap. Open the envelope quickly. Oh, this is not our son's writing, yet his name is signed. Oh, a strange hand writes for our dear son. Oh, a stricken mother's soul. All swims before her eyes, flashes with black. She catches the main words only, sentences broken, gunshot wound in the breast, cavalry skirmish, taken to hospital. At present low, but will soon be better. Ah, now the single figure to me, amid all teeming and wealthy Ohio with all its cities and farms, sickly white in the face and dull in the head, very faint, by the jamb of a door leans. Grieve not so, dear mother, the just-grown daughter speaks through her sobs. The little sisters huddle around, speechless and dismayed. See, dearest mother, the letter says Pete will soon be better. Alas, poor boy, he will never be better, nor maybe needs to be better, that brave and simple soul. While they stand at home at the door, he is dead already, the only son dead. But the mother needs to be better. She, with thin form, presently dressed in black, by day her meals untouched, then at night fitfully sleeping, often waking, in the midnight waking, weeping, longing with one deep longing. Oh, that she might withdraw unnoticed, silent from life escape and withdraw, to follow, to seek, to be with her dear, dead son.
Vigil strange I kept on the field one night, when you, my son, and my comrade, dropped at my side that day. One look I gave, which your dear eyes returned with a look I shall never forget. One touch of your hand to mine, O boy, reached up as you lay on the ground. Then onward I sped in the battle, the even contested battle, till late in the night, relieved to the place at last again I made my way, found you in death, so cold, dear comrade, found your body, son of responding kisses, never again on earth responding, bared your face in the starlight, curious the scene, cool blew the moderate night wind. Long there and then in vigil I stood, dimly around me the battlefield spreading. Vigil wondrous and vigil sweet there in the fragrant silent night, but not a tear fell, not even a long-drawn sigh. Long, long I gazed, then on the earth partially reclaiming, sat by your side, leaning my chin in my hands, passing sweet hours, immortal and mystic hours with you, dearest comrade. Not a tear, not a word. Vigil of silence, love, and death. Vigil for you, my son and my soldier, as onward, silently stars aloft, eastward new ones upward stole. Vigil for you, brave boy. I could not save you, swift was your death. I faithfully loved you and cared for you living. I think we shall surely meet again, till at latest lingering of the night, indeed just as the dawn appeared, my comrade I wrapped in his blanket, enveloped well his form, folded the blanket well, tucked it carefully overhead and carefully under feet. And there and then, and bathed by the rising sun, my son in his grave, in his rude dug grave I deposited, ending my vigil strange with that vigil of night and battlefield dim, vigil for boy of responding kisses, never again on earth responding, vigil for comrade swiftly slain, vigil I never forget, how as day brightened, I rose from the chilled ground and folded my soldier well in his blanket and buried him where he fell. A march in the ranks hard pressed and the road unknown, a route through a heavy wood with muffled steps in the darkness, our army foiled with loss severe and the sullen remnant retreating, till after midnight glimmer upon us the lights of a dim-lighted building. We come to an open space in the woods, and halt by the dim-lighted building. 'Tis a large old church at the crossing roads, now an impromptu hospital. Entering but for a minute, I see a sight beyond all the pictures and poems ever made. Shadows of deepest, deepest black, just lit by moving candles and lamps, and by one great pitchy torch stationary, with wild red flame and clouds of smoke. By these crowds, groups of forms vaguely I see on the floor, some in the pews laid down. At my feet, more distinctly, a soldier, a mere lad, in danger of bleeding to death. He is shot in the abdomen. I staunch the blood temporarily. The younger's face is white as a lily. Then, before I depart, I sweep my eyes o'er the scene, fain to absorb it all. Faces, varieties, postures, beyond description, most in obscurity, some of them dead. Surgeons operating, attendants holding lights, the smell of ether, the odor of blood. The crowd, oh, the crowd of the bloody forms, the yard outside also filled. Some on the bare ground, some on planks or stretchers, some in the death spasm, sweating. An occasional scream or cry, the doctor's shouted orders or calls, the glisten of the little steel instruments catching the glint of the torches. These I resume as I chant. I see again these forms. I smell the odor. Then hear outside the orders given. Fall in, my men, fall in. But first I bend to the dying lad. His eyes open. A half smile gives he me. Then the eyes close, calmly close, and I speed forth to the darkness, resuming, marching, ever in darkness, marching, on in the ranks, the unknown road still marching. A sight in camp in the daybreak, gray and dim. As from my tent I emerge so early sleepless, as slow I walk in the cool fresh air, the path nearby the hospital tent. 3 forms I see on stretchers lying, brought out there, untended, lying. Over each the blanket spread, ample brownish woolen blanket, gray and heavy blanket, folding, covering all. Curious I halt and silent stand. Then with light fingers I, from the face of the nearest, the first, just lift the blanket. Who are you, elderly man, so gaunt and grim, with well-grayed hair and flesh all sunken about the eyes? Who are you, my dear comrade? Then to the second I step. And who are you, my child and darling? Who are you, sweet boy, with cheeks yet blooming? Then to the third, a face, nor child, nor old, very calm, as of beautiful yellow-white ivory. Young man, I think I know you. I think this face is the face of the Christ himself, dead and divine, and brother of all, and here again he lies. As toilsome I wandered Virginia's woods, to the music of rustling leaves kicked by my feet, for 'twas autumn. I marked at the foot of a tree the grave of a soldier, mortally wounded he, and buried on the retreat. Easily all could I understand. The halt of a midday hour, when up, no time to lose, yet this sign left, on a tablet scrawled and nailed on the tree by the grave, bold, cautious, true, and my loving comrade. Long, long I muse, then on my way go wandering, many a changeful season to follow, and many a scene of life. Yet at times, through changeful season and scene, abrupt, alone, or in the crowded street, comes before me the unknown soldier's grave, comes the inscription rude in Virginia's woods, bold, cautious, true, and my loving comrade.
Not the pilot has charged himself to bring his ship into port, though beaten back and many times baffled. Not the pathfinder, penetrating inland, weary and long, by deserts parched, snows chilled, rivers wet, perseveres till he reaches his destination, more than I have charged myself, heeded or unheeded, to compose a march for these states, for a battle call, rousing to arms if need be, years, centuries hence.
The year that trembled and reeled beneath me, your summer wind was warm enough, yet the air I breathed froze me. A thick gloom fell through the sunshine and darkened me. Must I change my triumphant songs, said I to myself. Must I indeed learn to chant the cold dirges of the baffled, and sullen hymns of defeat?